G'day mates, this is second to last, so the penultimate episode. We're doing New York. Funny thing about this is Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden won these states by like 20 points the last time around. And now it's polling within 8. Really weird. But yeah. So Donald Trump last time around he got, let's see, 37.8% of the total vote. So 38 points. Joe Biden got 61 of the state. So what do we see here? Joe Biden's vote share is collapsing. Again. Why does this happen? Well, it's because of the New York City. And mostly because of inflation and that kind of stuff. So, a few things to note. New York, 8.5 million votes. Kings, about 900,000. Queens, about 800,000. Suffolk, 700,000. Nassau, another 700,000. So that's Long Island, 1.5 million votes. New York County, so that's Manhattan, those kind of things. 700,000. Erie, which is northwest. That is 470,000. Then you have Westchester, you have the Bronx, Monroe. So a lot of urban areas, but everything else, as you can see, any county that is less than 100,000, you can see that Trump wins like 80% of them. Sorry. So that is another part of the urban-rural divide. Again. So, let's go towards the shuffler. We have this, 23.5% for Biden. So, what does it need to happen in order for Trump to win the state of New York? Well, that's going to be a fun one to figure out. So, first things first. How easy is it to get on the ballot as an independent? In the state of New York, well, you need 45,000 signatures, no filing fee, and you need to have it done before May 28th. So, deadline's closed. I believe that the state of New York is doing everything in its plan to get rid of the Libertarians and the Greens on the ballot. So, as another thing to note, and I think Kennedy is also really being hampered in the state of New York. So, take that into account. So, how do we get there? I'm not going to say it's going to happen. It's just going to be more of a thought experiment. So, first off, we have, obviously, I'm going to show you New York City. So that is technically this. So you have the 4 boroughs. You have Richmond, which would be Staten Island. You have Long Island, which is Nassau and Suffolk, Westchester and Rockland. That is Biden plus 36. Rest of the state, as you can see, and I'm just going to quickly do this. Rest of the state is Biden plus 4. So, in order for Trump to win New York, he needs to win upstate New York, like George Pataki did. And I wanted to show, I'm going to do this as well. So that was the 2002 New York gubernatorial. I think that was the first one that George Pataki won. Oh, that's his re-election bid. Hang on, let's go 1998 then. Because that was the flip, I think. No, 94. Yes, when he defeated Mario Cuomo. So here we go. This is 1994. Mario Cuomo, 80% of the vote. George Pataki, as part of the Save New York movement. Got the conservative. You have also the funny part about this was the tax cuts party. So Cuomo, 41 to 43 if you don't do anything of the third party sort. You have the Conservative Party where Pataki got 6% of the vote. You have Liberal that got 2% of the vote, and as you can see, Conservative Party really just pulled Cuomo over the line. New York City, Pataki got 28% of the vote. Mario Cuomo got 70% of the vote. Rest of the state, it was basically 57 to 32. So basically, what does this mean for us? We have upstate New York. You need to win that by 20. And down ballot New York, so New York City itself, this particular section, in the case of Cuomo, I think it was, I'm going to look back at it, lose it by 43. Okay, so that's definitely not happening. In this particular case, you gotta lose New York City by about 20, I think. You still lose the state by 3. Okay, so in the case of George Pataki, his numbers, they're a little bit different because the state is a little more different in terms of population makeup. It's more centrally located in New York City. So maybe let's do his last victory. So 2006 was when he decided to retire. I think there was there term limits? No, New York doesn't have term limits. So the George Pataki did not go for 4 terms. So 2006, this was a swing election, which is basically the midterms where George Bush got absolutely shellacked. Eliot Spitzer, he got 65% of the vote. John Faso got 27. Let's do George Pataki then. Next one, Independence was a third-party candidacy. Pataki, 49% of the vote. The highest vote share he got was in the 1998 re-election campaign, 54%. Where George Pataki won everything except for the Bronx, Kings, Queens, and New York County. Everything else went to the Democrat. So, what does this mean for Trump in this particular regard? So we reset back. How do we do it? First of all, the turnout increase for the state of New York is 12%. I also want to tell you this, on the ballot in the state of New York, no Libertarian, no Green, Cornel West isn't on there, it's just Kennedy, Trump, and Biden. That's it. Nothing else. Just so you know. So, let's go and start with the first region that is important, that's the capital region. So, we have Columbia, Greene, Albany, Rensselaer, Schenectady, Saratoga, Washington, and Warren. This goes to Biden by 12 points. Trump needs to win this by 10. So, we're moving at 22 points to the right. Next one. That's important. Central New York. So we do the multi-select tool. We have Oswego, Onondaga, apologies, Madison, Cortland, and Cayuga. Biden won it by 8 points. Trump needs to win it by, again, 20. So, 28 points to the right. Still need to find 20 points to make up. Let's do Mohawk Valley. Next one. Otsego, Schoharie, Montgomery, Fulton, Herkimer, and Oneida. Trump plus 20. He needs to win that by 50. Still, Biden plus 20 race. Northern Country, which would be basically Hamilton, Essex, Clinton, Franklin, St. Lawrence, Lewis, and Jefferson. Trump plus 10, he needs to win it by 30. At least, that's the mark he needs to hit. And as you can see, you're still not moving anything. in this particular regard. How about Southern Tier, which is basically everything that is adjacent to the border of Pennsylvania, all the way up to Delaware. Trump plus 15, you need to win that by 30. So let's move that 14 points to the right. You're still not hitting the targets at this particular point. So let's move the rest of upstate New York, with the exception of the Hudson Valley. So there's this particular regard. That needs to go to Trump by, again, 20 points. And you're making it a Biden plus 15 electorate. Let's take everything from the Hudson Valley. So Ulster, Sullivan, Orange, Rockland, Westchester, Putnam, and Dutchess. You need to win this by 15 to 20 points. So let's do 15 first. Oh. Win it by 15 points. Biden plus 10. Long Island. So multi-select again. Suffolk and Nassau. Biden plus 5. You need to win that by 20. So there we go. It is a Biden plus 6 electorate. And the only thing you need to do next. So shift. So Richmond, Staten Island, basically you need to win that by 30. And the rest needs to be made up in New York City. New York City proper. So let's do this. Multi-select. So we have Queens, we have Bronx, we have New York, and we have Kings. And you need to make up 500,000 votes here, which means you cannot lose New York City by more than 30. And then you win the state. That's what you need to do as a Republican. This is what the shift map looks like. Everywhere you need to do 30 points better. In the case of New York, you shouldn't be completely destroyed. I think this is wrong. Let's do this again. Multi-select those counties. Reset counties. And now we do multi-select again. Those ones. And we need to make sure that you don't lose by 30. Hang on, this one needs to be increased by 18 points, I think. And then you need to lose by about 20 points, I think. I don't know what this thing that completely destroyed itself. Whatever. So basically, you need to get kings within 10. I don't know what's the map that completely destroyed itself. Right, R plus 5, R plus 6, that's what you would get. Sometimes the calculator here does some stupid stuff and completely breaks itself for some dumb reason. So, here you go. In order for the Republican to win in the state of New York, basically you need to do 20 points, 30 points better overall, so that's not really going to happen. Unless you get something like Kennedy taking 20% of the vote from Joe Biden. In that particular regard, yes, you can actually flip New York, but it's going to be exceedingly difficult. That's where we're at right now. But in that regard, you still lose Tompkins, you still look at Albany, so that is the state capital, that is college. NYU, I think, is there. And they have Westchester. You lose it barely. And then New York City. You got to win Nassau by 15. Long Island, Suffolk, you're going to win by 25. You need to win Erie, which is virtually impossible. You need to win Monroe. Again, virtually impossible. That's basically what a Republican has to do to win the state. All right, very relatively short one in comparison to the rest. Thank you kindly for watching. Last one coming up, that is Pennsylvania. See you next time. Cheers.